Time now for our Midday Minutes, and I'm here with Lauren Bain. She's the Vice President of Portfolio Management and Selection at 43 North. Lauren, good afternoon to you. Thanks so much for being with us here for our Midday Minutes conversation. This is a big week for 43 North, and really to decide how $5 million in new investment is going to be spent.
Absolutely, yeah. On Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. at Shays, 10 finalists will pitch for their share of $5 million with a top prize of $1 million.
So what is that actually like? So they pitch live, and how does it work? Who votes? How do they find out who the winner is?
Yeah, so what a lot of people don't know is we actually have 15 finalists in town even as early as today.
Wow.
And so tomorrow what will happen is we'll narrow that field down to the 10 finalists that everyone sees at Shays. And that night they'll have 2 minutes to pitch. They'll be in front of 5 celebrity judges who will grill them, ask them questions about their finances, about their product and customers. And then they will score those 10 companies and decide who gets the million, and then which 7 will receive $500K in investment.
Now, so once the company wins this competition and we decide who will get that money, what are the standards? How long do they have to stay in Buffalo, and how do they have to use that money?
Yeah, so they actually do have to move to Buffalo in January of 2020. We moved them right in the middle of winter.
Perfect timing, right?
Exactly. And they do have to stay with us for a year. But what we really are looking for is companies that don't want to just be here for a year. Mm-hmm. We're looking for companies that want to make Buffalo their home. And so as we go through the judging and diligence process, we're asking them a lot of questions to get to the bottom of why they're interested in this opportunity and if they see Buffalo as a future home for their company.
If they say no, or if they don't answer the question correctly, does that kind of detract from the judges voting for them?
It's absolutely a part of the judging criteria at every stage during our process.
So let me ask you this. How many companies in the past 4 or 5 years since 43 North has started actually have committed to Buffalo and have stayed in Buffalo?
So over half of the companies that have won 43 North have stayed in Buffalo beyond the 1-year commitment. But what we're seeing is a trend of that increasing year over year. So last year's winners, the class that won in 2018, all of them plan to stay in Buffalo. So we see, as we get better and better at the judging and diligence process, we see that companies are a better and better fit for Buffalo.
So talk to me about the future of this then. I mean, obviously companies are looking at Buffalo and they're saying it's a great opportunity for us to not only have a company, but perhaps start a company and then develop that company in the future. What does that say about the economics in Buffalo and the business climate that we're in here?
Yeah, so in 2014, only $6 million was spent by venture capitalists on Buffalo-based companies.
Okay.
Today, we see that at about $300 million from just our portfolio alone.
Wow.
So investors are looking at Buffalo. Investors are looking at second-tier cities throughout the U.S. No longer does a startup company have to be based in the Bay Area to be successful.
Right.
And Buffalo can really capitalize on that if we do smart programming like 43 North.
And so one of those companies you mentioned, Buffalo-based, is actually from Buffalo. Can you talk about that one company and what their chances might be?
Yeah, so Circuit Clinical is a company that applied to 43 North this year and did make it to the finals that is from Buffalo. And Circuit Clinical has a really interesting value proposition. They actually help clinicians run clinical trials. But the other thing that they do that people might find interesting is they're almost like a Yelp review for clinical trials. So if you have a certain type of cancer and you want to get into a clinical trial, you can read about real patients who are going through that right now. What do they think of that clinical trial? How is it going for them? So patients can make a better choice about what options they have.
So a more educated consumer is basically what they're trying to develop out of this company.
Absolutely, and they're helping clinicians actually recruit patients. So helping those clinicians find the right people for those clinical trials to make sure that that drug or that treatment option is going to get out there quicker.
And it seems like that would be a perfect combination between this company and perhaps Roswell Park, which we know is so innovative when it comes to cancer treatments. Business Insider named Buffalo a top 5 tech hub because of affordability, housing, and opportunity here. Do you see that with other companies kind of relocating to Buffalo, saying that's exactly what we're looking for?
Absolutely, and I think if you talk to the finalists from last year, that's one of the key reasons that they love Buffalo. So many of our companies come from the Bay Area, come from New York City, where housing is just so expensive.
Sure.
And your dollar just isn't going far enough. So when you look at Buffalo, you can operate leaner, and you can have a better quality of life for you and your employees, and they really value that.
So the finals are this week, Wednesday. What do we look at next year? What are you anticipating?
So next year, what's exciting is we actually have a new headquarters that we'll be moving into in January. So we will be moving to One Seneca Tower. We're one of the first tenants in that building as it's being redone by Douglas Jamal.
Sure.
And, it's going to be a beautiful office building. We have tons of mentorship planned for these winners. And then next year, I think we'll have another competition.
And that's something to look forward to, and even more companies will come to Buffalo, see what it's all about, and hopefully build their companies here, because we know a good Buffalo means good business, it means people are staying here, and certainly that our economy continues to flourish.
Absolutely, and we have many job openings. If you actually go to our website, most of our companies are hiring right now, so it's a great opportunity for our local workforce to get involved.
That's wonderful. Lauren Baines, thank you so much for being here with us this afternoon.